information to share tonight. But I'm really excited to see all of you in person. And as I said to our team here this week, our staff are a little bit like the players right now, getting ready for the season down in Jupiter. It's early mornings, it's late nights, and incredible preparations to make the ballpark be that place that you look forward to every spring and summer. And the ballpark looks great, and we have a number of other really exciting things to share with you. I also just want to take a moment and thank each of you, not just for your longstanding support of Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, but also for your support of great affordable family fun here in Jacksonville. As you probably saw earlier in the year, the city of Jacksonville, the support of the mayor, city council, made a substantial investment into our home, our mutual home. It's as much your home as it is our home, and that's 121 Financial Ballpark. And the process of making a series of material and substantive changes to the building to make it a place where we get the chance to put on a great show for you every night. We hope for many decades to come. And tonight's town hall gives us really the very first chance to share some of those ideas, thoughts, and just a little flavor of some things to come. And so we're really excited for that. I want to thank our team. I want to thank everybody that's involved in making this season be our very best season. And there's a number of folks that you'll hear from tonight that are playing a huge role in that. And none of that is more true than our leader, Harold Cross. So Harold, I'll hand it back over to you, and I'll see everybody here at the end of the call, and keep those questions coming in the chat box, because we really want to hear from you guys. So as folks are speaking, please do type those questions in. See you soon.
Thank you, Ken, and thanks again for joining us here tonight. And so, as Ken talked about, yeah, we're so humbled and appreciative for everything that Jacksonville has supported us on. And so we are constantly in the feedback gathering mode, as is our goal to always continually improve the guest experience for you as you come to enjoy Jumbo Shrimp Baseball or any other event that might be happening at the ballpark this summer. And so whether it's conversations, honestly, out in the community, because people stop me all the time. Generally, they ask for $100, but then that follows up with something else. Or if it's conversations that we're having with myself or staff throughout ball games. And of course, I know many of you have received and responded to our surveys for feedback that we send out following each homestand. And so we take all of that information very seriously, and it gives us an opportunity to become better in operating the ballpark for you, our fans. And so we took that feedback and we've used that, we feel, in a way to best help benefit you, the customer. And so tonight we'll touch on a few of those upgrades, and you're going to actually have the opportunity to hear from a couple other staff members. So I'll briefly introduce them just so you know who they are, and then we'll get to them very shortly here. So first we'll have Peter Ursey, Director of Ticketing for the Jumbo Shrimp, and he'll be able to address some of our updates in our new ticketing experience and some of the additional features and the user friendliness of that system. And then you'll have the opportunity to hear from Jumbo Shrimp Director of Food and Beverage, Guillermo Vega, on some of the experience improvements that we've made in the food and beverage portion of our operation, or as we like to know it as, concessions at the ballpark as well. And so you'll have the opportunity to hear from those two gentlemen right here shortly, but I'll go ahead and get us kicked off with our new for 23 is what our ticketing experience. And so it's more than just a new ticketing system, if you will. And so as we move us, the Jumbo Shrimp, 121 Financial Ballpark, to a digital ticketing experience, our new system actually gives us some additional flexibility and also offers some added features as well. Now, I know many of you are already going to events, whether it's in the sports complex or whether it's through high school or middle school events throughout our city, and probably other events throughout the state. You're using your phone as your primary source of entry to those events. And so in us transitioning to this new ticketing experience, we also have the opportunity for you to use your phone as your primary source of entry into the ball game, freeing up another hand, hopefully, to have it free so it's easier to come in and easier to get into 121 Financial Ballpark as well. And so with your phone now becoming your primary source of entry. Hopefully, that'll make it easier for you to enter the ball game as well. Yes, if you still would like to print your tickets out at home and scan them at the gate, we will happily do that to invite you in to 121 Financial Ballpark for a game or an event that you might be attending. And so the initial two questions that I had when we were initially talking through this process, as we were going through the transition was, well, what happens if I want to come to a Jumbo Shrimp game and I just walk up to the box office to purchase a ticket? Not a problem, not a problem. We'll get that ticket to you right on your phone, and you can access it at the time needed to enter the ballpark to come to a Jumbo Shrimp game or event. And so I followed that up with the second question that was in my head, which was, what happens if I come to a Jumbo Shrimp ball game or event and the gates are already open and the game or event is getting ready to start? Not a problem, not a problem at all. We'll simply get you a ticket as quickly as possible so we can get you into the game as quickly as possible so you can enjoy that event as well. Now, we know with new systems and new changes and things like that, there's inevitably going to be a snag or a hiccup or a speed bump, but do rest assured that we're working hard to clear any of those up ahead of time. And also rest assured that please don't hesitate to reach out to us should you have a question, as we are here to help make this process work very well and hopefully easy for you at that time. So I know I just touched on really the tip of the iceberg in digital ticketing and that new ticketing experience. But I'd like to turn it over now to the gentleman who's probably been more intimately, not probably, has been more intimately involved in this process and transition into this new ticketing experience, to Jumbo Shrimp Director of Ticketing, Peter Ursey. Pete, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Harold. Hey guys, first off, thank you all again for taking some time out of your evening to join us tonight. Really appreciate it and looking forward to a fantastic 2023 season. Like Harold touched on, we do have a brand new ticket system in place this season. So what a lot of you guys will be seeing now, or everyone will be seeing now, is what's called a My Tickets account. That is where you will do everything from forwarding your tickets, printing your tickets at home, exchanging vouchers, and even recalling tickets if you send them out to folks and then you need to recall them. It is much more user-friendly than our past system. So, it is, I know change can be hard for folks, but I promise you, once you try it out once or twice, it is super, super simple. And it's an awesome system to be working with. I'm really happy that we have it. This new system also allows you the ability to use Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal accounts for purchasing tickets if you're an individual buyer. If you can also add tickets directly to your Apple or Google wallet straight from your purchase, which is just super convenient for the fans, and that's what we're aiming for, is making this a convenient and easy process for you guys and entering 121 Financial Ballpark. For our full season ticket holders, you still have that consign back option where you can put your seats up for sale and get some food and beverage credit back, and also have the ability to exchange any unused tickets for a general admission ticket, just as in the past, but this time you actually have the ability to do it yourself in the ticketing system. Of course, still reach out to your reps. We're still here to help out with anything you guys will need. Use us. We are happy to assist and want to guide you through this new ticketing system and our new ways of digital ticketing. So that's all I have for right now. So I will pass it on back over to Harold.
All righty. Well, thank you, Pete. And as you can see, the system does have some additional features that we have in the past and offers us some flexibility that we haven't had in the past. So just excited and wanted to touch on a couple things there. But there's two more things, obviously three, but two more things that I wanted to share, and then we'll get to that third about our ticketing system. One, I'll allow Pete to share, which is a really big deal because we all know how important it is to hang out at the ball Park with our friends. So I'll have Pete touch on how to send a ticket to somebody that is a friend of yours that you want to meet up at the ballpark in just a second. But I wanted to first touch on managing your new what's called the My Tickets account. So your account that gives you the freedom to do a lot of things that Pete just noted and what you can do and pay for as well. So your first time you log on to jackshrimp.com to purchase a ticket to come to a ball game, maybe you have already, maybe you've already set up your My Tickets account. But the first time that you log on, you'll go through the process of purchasing your tickets, so selecting your seats. And then obviously, after you selected your seats, the next portion of that, obviously, is the checkout, right? And so right as you check out, you'll have the opportunity to build out your My Tickets account, similar to another software that you might have used or another website or application that you may have used where you had to set up an account. Basic information, right? It's your name, address, email, phone number. And obviously, because you have to buy those tickets, you have to put in some payment information as well. And adding that information, obviously, there's probably one or two other things that you need to add there. And voila, you have a My Tickets account. It's really that simple. Most important is once you have that account, like many of the other accounts that you probably have, you have the opportunity to change your name, address, phone number, email. Oh man, I could go down the list as well. Password, let me not forget that. And of course, you can remove or update your payment information inside your accounts. And so, much like other accounts that you may have, there's some freedom once you initially set up that account. And so I just wanted to touch on quickly setting up your My Tickets account and the things that you can do with that account. And so I'll turn it back over for Pete to briefly run through how you can send a ticket to somebody on your friends list or the list of folks that you might be sending tickets to that we refer to as your friends list. To you, Pete.
Thanks, Harold. Yeah, guys, just like Harold touched on. So, of course, if you would like, you can print your tickets at home, but in your My Tickets account, you have an option that is called Forward. With forwarding, it is just what it says. You have the option of forwarding tickets to friends, family, coworkers, guests, whoever you would like to forward tickets to. Super convenient for companies, season ticket holders, even individuals that may be buying tickets for a group of folks that want to, have their guests responsible for their tickets. In order to do this, you simply select the forward option, click on the game and tickets you want to forward to your friend. So if you have the game and you have 6 tickets, but you just want to forward 2 of them, just select the 2 tickets you wish to forward, and then you will see a choose friend option on there. So you will select that. If you don't have any friends in your account, you will add your friend. All it's going to require is their first name, last name, and email address. It is as simple as that. Once you add your friend, once you add it one time, that is all you'll need to do. Your friend will be in there until they're not your friend no more, and you can erase them from your database. But add your friend's information. You will then select forward to continue the process. Once you do so, your friend will receive an email confirmation saying that they received tickets. And a feature that I love as well is you, as the sender, will also receive a confirmation saying that you sent tickets and that they have been forwarded to your friend. Once your friend receives that email, they will do the same thing that you kind of did when you created your account, is they will log into their account or create their account by just simply entering their first name, last name, email address, and whatever password they'd like to use. The most important part of this step that I can't stress enough is making sure that they enter the same email address as the email address that you sent the tickets to. Again, I'm going to repeat that, making sure that they enter the same email address as the email address you sent it to. For example, if you're sending it to their work email, please make sure that they are using their work email when they are creating their account. They can certainly change this once they create their account and log in, but in order for them to actually see the tickets to begin with, they will need to use that email address to access it. If they sign in with their personal email and you send it to their work email, they will not be able to see those tickets. So that's the one thing I can't stress enough, is just making sure that they use the correct email address when creating their account. But other than that, it's very straightforward. I know it might seem like a lot, but it's very simple once you get in there, I promise. Another really cool feature about this, plans change. We all know stuff happens. So, if you need to, you can also recall a ticket. So you will simply go into the game and select the tickets that you have just forwarded to that person. And there will be an option for recall. So if they decide they can't make it out that night, you have another set of friends that might want to come out, just select the recall button option. The tickets will come back into your account. You will again receive an email confirmation saying those tickets have been recalled. And you can then go ahead and either forward those tickets on out to someone else, keep them for yourself, or use them however you would like. Again, a very easy process. I think it's going to be hugely, immensely helpful for everyone. But again, if you guys need any assistance walking through it the first couple times, please reach out to us and your representatives, and we are happy to help. Thanks, Harold.
All right, Pete. Yeah, I know, fans and guys, ladies and gentlemen, that might have been just a tad bit in the weeds, but I wanted to ensure that we at least walk through that process to share some of the user friendliness of our system that we currently have. Rest assured, you don't have to have a mind like a steel lock to remember all of these things today. But one thing you should remember is we have a digital tickets guide available on our website. So jackshrimp.com, in the top left corner, you can click on the tickets and groups tab. And in that drop down, you'll see the digital ticketing guide that you can click on. Or when you click on that page for our digital ticketing guide, not only does it have the process that Pete just talked about, or the process with my tickets that I just talked about, but it can also answer some other of the questions that you might have about how to use the system. Even more important, or even what I thought was pretty cool, is at the bottom of that page, it also adds some additional frequently asked questions and answers about the ticketing system that I found very helpful when found myself at a lurch for what to do when sending or recalling a ticket, or what I needed to do to help someone else. So I encourage you to find the tickets and group tab at the top left corner at jackshrimp.com and click on that drop down, and it says digital ticketing guide, where you can click right on, and hopefully that will answer some of your questions. But again, like Pete said, we are here to answer and help you in any way possible, because ultimately, at the end of the day, our goal with this new ticketing experience in transition is to make this transition as simple and easy and seamless as possible as well. One cool feature, additional feature that's really specific to groups and businesses that may come out to a ball game is what we term loaded value. Now, again, like I noted, it's specific to groups or businesses. I know you guys might have come to, and ladies might have come to a game before with the group, with the school, with the civic group, with the nonprofit organization, with the church group. I'm sure I could go on and on and on. And you may have had the opportunity to use what we had affectionately known as crustacean cash in our ballpark, which for us is the form of currency that was in the past used in our ballpark. Well, gone is that crustacean cash, and now you have the opportunity to load value right on your ticket if you're coming as a group of folks. It's a unique opportunity that we are proud to introduce this year that hopefully will help for any people that might be bringing a group of folks that don't have to sit and wait to distribute things. They can get it right to them. Those fans and members of the group can come in and enjoy the ball game. So simply put, loaded value is essentially putting cash on that digital ticket that will be on your phone, and having that phone have the opportunity to be scanned, whether it be for concessions or whether it be for merchandise, and having that cash come right off, having that cash be scanned and used right off of your phone. Definitely unique to groups and businesses, as We are doing that for those specifically, and that loaded value must be used on the night that you attend the ball game. So just wanted to briefly touch on that and the opportunity for loaded value. But with that and adding that loaded value, also the additional user-friendly options that we have with our ticketing system, and obviously moving and transitioning towards digital tickets. We, like many places throughout the sports complex, our city, and then even our state, even places like Disney, are transitioning a one-to-one financial ballpark to a cashless experience. So I know you might think, whoa, wait a minute, Harold, what does that mean? Does that mean that I can still bring my cash to a jumbo shrimp game? Yes, of course you can. We love that. Does that mean I can spend my cash at a jumbo shrimp game? Yes, you can stay. Yes, you still can spend your cash. However, you're going to have to transform that cash into a card. Therefore, on our main concourse, we're going to have a machine that transfers money into a card. I like to think of it as a reverse ATM machine. You put money in it, you get a card out with that money on it. Let me say it a different way. So I have $20 cash. I'm coming to a game. I put that $20 of cash into that reverse ATM, and bloop, bloop, pops out a card that has $20 of value on it that you can use to pay for your food and beverage or your merchandise in our stadium. Now, I know the first question that I had was, so what happens if I only use 10 of that $20? No worries, no worries. Unlike the loaded value option, if you have this card, you can bring it back to any future jumbo shrimp game and use it there. Well, you might think, I'm not coming back to another jumbo shrimp game this season. Not a problem, not a problem. In that case, think of it like an additional debit card. You can use any money that's left over on that card out in the community, just like you would a debit card as well. And so with that and with those options, we are excited to continue to transition one-to-one to a cashless experience. Like we noted before, we know that there could be a bump in the road along the way, but please, please, please rest assured and know that we're working hard to ensure that we clean up any of those bumps in the road and are here to help you should you have any issues with that as well. So you use your ticket to access the ballpark. You're in, you got your Apple, you got your Google Pay, you're ready to rock, or you've transferred your cash into a card. Well, what's next, right? The baseball game. I know when you come to Jumbo Shrimp, the Jumbo Shrimp games or events, there's that other little element that we like to do when we get into stadiums. At least I know I like to do. Let me not say that for everyone else. It is I like to grab a beverage and maybe something to eat and enjoy myself as well. And so with that, now that you're in the game and you've gone through all of that, we have listened to you and we understand through the surveys that sometimes you might have had to wait in line. So we took that seriously. And then we looked at how can we elevate our food and beverage experience for two reasons. One, because we always want to better serve you. But then two, how do we cut down on some time waiting in line as well? And so we looked at transforming and have transformed our food and beverage experience for this upcoming season. Yes, yes, yes. The concessions that you have come to know and potentially love at one-to-one Financial Ballpark will still be here. Yes, some of them may change name. Yes, obviously, like we always do, we'll have some new items that we will be able to feature, but they'll still be here at the ballpark as well. I know I could go on, but I'd rather allow someone who's been a little bit more intimately involved with this food and beverage project, similar to how Peter was involved in our new ticketing experience. So I'd like to turn it over now to Jumbo Shrimp Food and Beverage Director, Guillermo Vega, to share more about some food and beverage upgrades that we made this past offseason. Guillermo?
Awesome. Thanks, Harold, and good evening, everybody. Yes, we're going to keep your traditional ballpark favorites on the menus. And if you notice, there's probably something new and exciting in the pipeline as well. In addition to updating the menus throughout the operation, we've added digital menu boards, similar to the ones you've seen at All American Jacks. and Southern Fried Freebird, the 2 concession stands right behind home plate. These digital menu monitors will serve as primary menus on the concourse. This will allow us to add items to the menu and offer you a wider selection. On top of that, they've also streamlined the look of our concessions operation to give you a clean, organized, updated appearance as you move about the concourse. When we talk about a food and beverage experience, purchasing experience, in our world, we refer to it as a POS, which stands for point of sale. We've made an exciting investment and a new point of sale, which has changed how we operate behind the scenes, but more importantly, how you, the fan, will experience our concessions operation, if not exceed it. Yes, we'll still have traditional registers that you've seen in our stands in the past. And in the very near future, we will have self-service kiosks at many of those stands as well. These kiosks will allow you to flow through our menus, place your order, pay for your order, and then receive your order from our jumbo shrimp concession staff. This free-flowing purchase option has been done to speed up your time in concessions, but ultimately to get you back to what you came to the ballpark to do, which is watch the game and spend quality time with your family and friends. Back to you, Harold.
Well, thank you, Guillermo. And thank you for that information as well. Like Guillermo said, we're excited about this new opportunity and to be able to deliver this experience to you as well. Like I've noted, I think a couple times before, we're still constantly working on upgrading that ballpark experience. And so again, another example of that is that we're hard at work currently on our mobile ordering capabilities, and super excited to be able to roll that out as soon as possible once we get rolling on the season. So I'm really pumped up about those opportunities as we continue to try to evolve and better the experience for you, our fans, coming to the ballpark as well. And so we talked about the digital ticketing experience. We've talked about touching and transitioning in the cashes. We've touched on our new food and beverage experience and what you'll get to see when you come to a jumbo shrimp ball game. And so now I felt like it's the right time to transition over into our stadium improvements. And I'm excited about this because I spent, I don't know how many hours really poring over last off seasons or this off season, however you want to word it, stadium improvements as well. And so first, I just want to start off by saying many of you already know that we have been hard at work with the city of Jacksonville in securing some funds that help improve 121 Financial Ballpark from now on into the future. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't say a huge thank you to you, our fans, because your support of us and essentially many, if not all, of the things that we do has really been a humbling experience. And because of that support, we believe that we were able to secure those funds. And it is a thank you to you, Jacksonville. You know, I think back and I think about baseball and minor league baseball, and I kind of can summarize it in the saying that a great baseball maverick once told me. And he said, Harold, you can always have a community without having a baseball team, but there is no way you can have a baseball team without a community. And so when I think about that, I just say thank you, Jacksonville, for everything that you've helped us accomplish. And hopefully we can continue to give you exciting entertainment on game nights and event nights here at 121 Financial Ballpark. So this past off season, our renovations and updates were really focused on areas that many fans don't have the opportunity to see. However, I know that I get plenty of questions about, Harold, where do the players hang out when they're at the stadium and not on the field? And so that place is known as the clubhouse. Many of you may already know that. And then I know in other sports it's referred to as the locker room, but in baseball, we refer to that as the clubhouse, as it looks almost like a living room, which is pretty cool as well. And so we invested and spent this off season really updating those spaces and making them up to date, as well as to fall within the guidelines of what Major League Baseball is asking, and we are excited for how that turned out. I'm going to share my screen and flip through a couple pictures here of what our new clubhouses, plural, look like, and then share with you some of the basic upgrades that we made here. So if you will humor me while I share my screen, we'll get there in just. All right. So let's go back to the beginning. We have, you see our clubhouse here. If you've been in our clubhouse before, you might have seen it, but just wanted to get a different close-up shot as well. We upgraded all the furniture inside the clubhouse, as you can see from our chairs that the players will be able to sit in. We also upgraded our lockers as well. It's a little bit more space. Obviously, we did the walls painting, upgraded some lighting to kind of bring some energy into the building as well. And then obviously we did the floors. For those who didn't know or haven't been and visited us or haven't checked our website out in a while, you might notice some difference in some of our jerseys that we have hanging there. So yes, we've added the powder blue J Shrimp jersey that you see there with the left chest J Shrimp, J with the antenna logo with the word shrimp under it. And if you're used to coming on Fridays for Red Shirt Fridays, you might notice that our red jersey looks a tad bit different. It no longer says Bowl City, but it now says Jumbo Shrimp. A note, this is the first time that we have ever put the full word Jumbo Shrimp on a jersey and wore it on the field as well. And you might see a difference in our Navy jersey that we traditionally wear every Saturday night. It no longer says Jacksonville, but now says Bold City, which we're excited to have that now on our Navy jersey. And then the white jersey had some very small hits. We changed the sleeve logo and changed the piping just a little bit there, but more, we had the locker room set up for an event that we were hosting. And so I felt like it was good time to show that picture and talk a little bit about our jerseys here that we've updated. Next picture here, you'll see a kind of a bigger picture taken back, as you can see a bigger area of our clubhouse. I know some might think, what are those TVs that are on top of the lockers? Those aren't actually TVs. Those are our nameplates. It allows us to, whether it be moving video or still headshots of the players, so they'll know exactly where their lockers are, and any other information that we like to add to that just gives it a really cool feel. And of course, if we got a guy that's coming up from AA to AAA, he'll know exactly where to put his stuff, as his nameplate will be on his locker, so he'll be able to see his own face in that nameplate. You see our TVs in the middle of the clubhouse. This is actually set up for an event we had a couple weeks back, a private event. Probably a good time to note that we do have the opportunity, not just in our clubhouses, but in other areas of our stadium, to host private events on 9 game days. And this was an event that was set up to have a lunch, then a dinner at the ballpark, and kind of like the player space. So you're kind of getting a behind the scenes look at what our clubhouses and things like that look like. But yeah, renovations done there. As you can see, newer furniture, newer floors. And so I just wanted to share that area. Separate from the players' dressing area is an area where the coaches actually dress. Similar to the clubhouse area, new chairs. As you can see, we got our logos on the chairs. New lockers, just gives you a little closer picture of the lockers. Obviously, new name plates that they probably put up within the last day or two, as they still have those stickers right there on them. So you can smell the freshness if you were to walk in the clubhouse these days. Things are very much new. So if you're anything like me, you've probably wondered, I know I did before I got into baseball, where do the meetings happen where the guys get told, all right, you're going to the big league? Well, you can see it right here. This is our manager's office. So head coach, we refer to him in baseball as a manager. This is where his office is. Upgrades to all of our furniture, locker rooms, painting, and just some basic things that we've done here. But this is where a lot of dreams were made when people were told that they were going to the big leagues. So just wanted to share that with you guys as well. So here we have a picture. I wanted to share that this is our visiting clubhouse. But the reason I wanted to share it is because I wanted you to see a configuration, a normal configuration of a clubhouse. Remember I said that thing, living room? And so it kind of sets up more or less like a living room, as you can see the furniture that we have. This is our visiting clubhouse. We had to knock out a few more walls, and then we actually had to add another office. There was no manager's office on that side, so we added an office there as well. But you can see new flooring, new walls, new lockers in certain areas, as well as all of our new furniture. But similar to our side, we will have our logo on all of our furniture. And then just one last picture of the visiting clubhouse from a different angle as well. So just wanted to take the opportunity to share some of these 2023 off-season improvements as we speed towards opening day as well. So I will stop my share for you, but we'll continue to move on. So thanks. That was our 23 renovations that we did. So I'm excited to be able to share that with some folks. And now seems to be a good time to move on to what's in the future for 121 Financial Ballpark. Honestly, fans, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could dive deeper into those renovations, but we are really just scratching the surface and have some really top level, broad conversations about these areas of the stadium. But I wanted to take the opportunity to share some of the things in those broad conversations that we've talked about. I myself, we solicit information and feedback from every individual one of our staff members in any renovation that we do throughout. And if you have an idea or a thought as we are going through this here this evening, please don't hesitate to send us an email. Super simple. You can find us on our website. It's info@jackshrimp.com, but you can find that on our website if you have a question or a comment as well. But if you have an idea or thought about any of these areas that I will be touching on in just a second here, please don't hesitate to do that, because we love the feedback, and you never know when a phenomenal idea might present itself. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off. And so we'll start with the area. If you're sitting in the seating bowl and you're looking out in right field, you might see our bleachers. So where our current bleachers are, we broadly talked about upgrading that space for to make it more of a neighborhood style space. So when we talk about neighborhoods in reference to sports, we talk about an area where people or fans gather to have a good time with each other and, of course, take in the ball game. Really similar to what we do in our neighborhoods, right? We hang out, we spend time together, and we really develop that sense of community. And so when we think about where our current bleachers are, it's really looking at that space with the opportunity to upgrade it, to make it more of a neighborhood feel type of space. So just wanted to touch on that. And from that, we move to reimagining the space just beyond our center field wall. Really reimagining that space as an opportunity that we can engage fans of all ages, both on game days and, of course, non-game days, as we know there's so many events that are taking place in and around the sports complex. And so when I think about that, I think a little bit deeper about that. And I think about it when I was growing up. Some of my best memories were made on the front porch of my house, because it was always the time spent with family, friends, and really other neighbors where you continue to build that sense of community. And so when I personally think about reimagining that space, I think about how cool it would be for 121 Financial Ballpark to really have its own front porch. And so really thinking about reimagining that space as an engagement opportunity for fans of all ages. So really excited about having deeper conversations about that space. From that space, we move to our PNC Club and where that current space lands. I will say this, we had many staff members spend a chunk of last season as well as the off season visiting stadiums, arenas, football fields, all different types of venues throughout the country, and really looking at how is the experience for spaces that are extremely close to the field of play? And so when we think about that, we think about modernizing our PNC club space and really elevating that game day experience. And I'll tell you, folks, we saw a number of different things and a number of different opportunities that we might be able to transform here and pull off at 121 Financial Ballpark. But again, really on the surface of that as well. And so the next one that we move to is pretty simple, because I know if you've been to a Jumbo Shrimp game, you've sat in the Senior Bowl, and of course, I know you've looked at that big, large TV that's out there that we call a video board. And so we're looking at actually installing a brand new video board at the ballpark. And so that's pretty simple, cut and dry there, and excited about continuing to move down that road. From that video board, we slide to the left, and what I like to term the left field corner. And that left field corner includes the Coors Light Tiki Terrace, along with the Ring Power Palm Pavilion. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't know the Jacksonville Jeep Trail Rated Territory Berm area. So those three areas really encompass that left field corner. And the broad talk has really just been about how do we elevate that space and engage fans on game days? And as important, if not more importantly, how do we continue to activate and really engage people in that space on non-game days, as I already know that there's so many events going on in our sports complex, and with the added construction just means there's going to be more. And so when we think about the left field area, we think about really activating that area and how we can upgrade that space. And so we've talked about many things that are really down closer and around our field, but this last area I want to bring up is away from the field. And while we were looking at other stadiums, areas that are close to the field, we decided to take a different look as well, a different view as well, and move even past the concourse up to higher level areas that are either public or private that are in other stadiums and arenas. And when you think about 121 Financial Ballpark, the two areas that come to mind immediately is the Haskell Suite level, and also the Wheelhouse, which also sits on the Haskell Suite level as well. And so we were kind of looking at those other stadiums for what type of things that they were doing there and what kind of renovations we could do there. And also with that, how do we continue to upgrade the experience for guests that are either in a Wheelhouse or potentially in a Sky Deck, or potentially spending the night watching the game in one of our suites at the ballpark here as well. And so I know I touched on a few things, but I just wanted to recap those areas for you as well. So really looking at that right field space where the current bleachers are to develop more neighborhood space, reimagining the area beyond our center field wall as an opportunity to engage fans of all ages, examining and looking at modernizing our PNC club space and elevating that experience. And then of course, installing a new video board at the ballpark here, and then moving over to our left field corner and really focusing on how we can upgrade and activate that space more, both on a game day, even more so on non-game days with other events going on in the sports complex. And then last, but definitely not least, looking at our third floor suite level and how we can do renovations there, as well as activate that space more. Whew! That was a mouthful, but I wanted to make sure I got through those things to give us opportunity to answer questions at the end here as well. But I'm going to briefly touch on and recap the other things that we touched on, which were our new ticketing experience and digital ticketing, the opportunity for groups and businesses that are coming out to have loaded value, so you don't have to give cash to other people. You can actually have value loaded right on that digital ticket that they can use and scan. Obviously, we talked about transitioning to a cashless experience with the reverse ATM, but also the opportunity to use Apple Pay, Google Pay, and those type of elements throughout our building, as well. And then we also touched on the elevated food and beverage experience. And then I showed you some cute little pictures of our upgraded and clubhouse as it looks, it stands today from our off-season renovations. I'm going to take a break talking right now, and I'm actually going to turn it back over to Ken for some added comments. while I guzzle some water here. So Ken, I turn it back over to you.
Harold, that was impressive, man. I mean, you've been busy. You've been building on all those lockers and getting the whole building ready to go. Appreciate it, man. I'm so excited. I think I just keep saying that over and over and over again. One of the things, you know, that makes this community so special, and Harold got into this, is the way that our fans have given us so much feedback over the years. Boy, I really wish you had a jersey that said this, or walking into our team shop and telling our head of merchandise, you know, and director, boy, wouldn't it be cool if you had a cap that had this theme? And what happens a week later, the hat shows up in the store. We want to be an organization that hears and listens first. We've got a lot of ideas. Harold mentioned about a number of these spaces, and we're really excited about the road ahead, but we can't do this without you. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is encourage you as you come back to the ballpark this year, pull us aside, share your ideas, you know, grab me. You'll always see Harold, myself, the rest of our senior team on the concourse, pull us aside and said, yeah, I hear you guys are doing some things in the bleacher space in right field. Have you ever thought about this? In center field, have you ever thought about that? Or maybe you're a PNC club holder and you really wished you had X, Y, and Z. Please tell us, don't be shy. And if it's your style more to just send us an email, as Harold said, you can send us a note. All of our emails are on the team website. Even if you write Harold an email, you may not win $100. You got to do that at the game so that he's not eligible for win the GM's money outside of game hours. But in all seriousness, we want to hear from you. And I think the ballpark will be better. Your experience will be better. Our team will be better, and our community will be better by hearing you. And so we want to invite you to be part of that process with us. This is a really unique moment in time for this franchise, where we are given an opportunity to expand and renovate a ballpark that already, in our opinion, is one of the best in professional baseball. You know, now as a AAA club, an opportunity to make this the best in minor league baseball. And so we're off and committed to doing that. Harold showed you a sneak peek on some of the work that's already been completed, but we're excited to continue that work, and we can't do it without your support. And so I just wanted to, again, say thank you, thank our entire team. Pete, Guillermo, great job. Harold, of course, fabulous job. There's some graphics on doing some of the things that Pete covered tonight on our website that Harold referenced the link to. I would encourage you to check those out. I know we ran through a lot really quickly. It's a fabulous ticketing system, and I think you'll see the benefits of that as the season unveils here in just a couple of weeks. So without further ado, I'll hand it back to Harold and just say thank you once again. Harold, great job walking through everything, and can't wait to hear the feedback from the group, and see you guys in just a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments there as well. So we're going to get and move into our Q&A portion of this. I will say that I know some of our staff is on here as well and has been answering some of the questions as they present themselves. And so I'll go ahead and read through the question and answers that are on here. We have some comments as well, so I'll read through those first before we get other questions. This one is more of a comment from Greg McPherson. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'll do my best to get it right, and so I apologize. It says, use digital ticketing yesterday to redeem vouchers. Work seamlessly and will be very helpful in doing this. Great move. Well, thank you, Greg, and from Pete, thanks also, Greg. That's fantastic. Yeah, we're excited about the features that the system offers. I'm selfishly excited because I am not very tech savvy, and I was able to figure this thing out pretty easily. And so I was excited about that. It's usually my mom that's sharing technological information with me, which is pretty cool as well. And so the question from Ashley Howard, it says, what about rained out games? Will we be able to exchange tickets for another game? And Pete was so kind to answer this by saying, great question. If there is a rain out, you will be able to log into your My Tickets account, like we talked about, and select another game of your choice to replace that rain out ticket with no additional cost or fees. So gone is the idea that you need to walk to the box office to exchange that ticket before you leave that night's game, simply log into your My Tickets account, and then you can select another game that you can use that rained out ticket. Just another step that we feel like is going to help with that experience, so you don't feel like you need to exchange the night off. All right. And so next question comes from, I don't want to butcher the last name because people butcher my last name a lot and I've been called everything. And so the question is, can you use cash with vendors that are in the stands? I'm going to assume that that means the hawkers that are walking through the stands. And then the answer was from our Vice President of Marketing and Media is, all concessions and merchandise will be cashless in order to speed up our service. Our hawkers and vendors working the stands will take debit and credit cards. If you bring cash and you are able to use our reverse ATM machine, like I mentioned earlier, you'll receive a debit card of such that you can use and use that with those hawkers or the vendors that are in the stands. Or you can use that little card that you get out the machine anywhere in our ballpark, really. And if you don't use all your money there, like I noted, take it out in the community. Use it as a Visa debit card. So thank you for that question. And thank you also, Noel, for chiming in to answer that question. Great question by Brian Rivero. Any fan fest in place for the upcoming season? Our opening day, what we're doing a little bit different. I wouldn't call it a fan fest ahead of opening day. It's actually on opening day, but it is a fan fest. Our opening day street carnival will return this year on April 4th, which is our opening day, as we close down A. Philip Randolph Street, which is right next to obviously our stadium. And we will begin the interactive booth at 4 p.m. ahead of our 7 o'clock start that night. A couple of items, obviously, we'll have the DJ like we have in the past. I know our climbing wall has been a hit in the past, so we'll also have that there as well. So very good question. Phenomenal question about where will the reverse ATM be located and will there be more than one? Our reverse ATM will be located on the main concourse near guest services. If you guys have come to a stadium before, you'll understand as you come up those steps at that home plate gate, you can go to the left or you can go to the right. To the right would be the steps to guest services, and our reverse ATM will be right outside in close proximity to guest services. A great note that Noel, our VP of Marketing and Media, added to the answer of the question is that we were cashless for the sellout Savannah Bananas games that we had earlier in the month of March, and the reverse ATM never had a line. It was a great test for us, and yes, it was. I mean, we were packed to the walls with fans for that Saturday night and that Sunday afternoon. But as with everything, and like I noted, we'll continue to monitor all of our new systems and be able and ready to adjust if the demands so presents itself as well. So that is a phenomenal question, and thanks for asking as well. A great question. I actually had this question, ironically, when we were walking through the process of the reverse ATM. Is the card that you receive from the reverse ATM machine reloadable, or do I have to get a card each time? And so I'm just going to read the answer because I feel like that gives it the most justable. The Visa cards that you will receive from the reverse ATM machines are not reloadable. So once you spend the value that's loaded on the card, you need to get an additional card moving forward. So that is the answer from, once again, Vice President of Marketing and Media, Noel Blaha. Are Miami Vice Knights returning this year? Oh, yes. I'm excited. You know, we might be able to even, throw a Vice jersey on. We do hats, we do jerseys. You never know. It might pop up. And so the answer simply is yes. The Vice hat and jersey is now an official uniform set. So yes, we will be having Vice Nights or Miami Vice Nights as we go throughout our season. And so I'm pumped up about that. So that was one of the added jerseys that you did not see hanging up in our locker room, but we are so pumped to formally add that to our list of uniforms. Great question from an anonymous attendee. Announce the opening day starter. Man, I wish I had that information to announce, as I would love to be able to do that. But guys are still down in spring training and working hard. Hopefully we'll have a phenomenal lineup of players this year, and we'll have the success that we saw for much of the season last year. So we were really fortunate with that. Oh, this is a phenomenal question from Howard Wolpoff. Are there concepts from watching the Savannah Bananas that you will be able or intend to incorporate into the game day experience in the ballpark? So, Howard, if you were here for the Bananas game, you will understand that it was an overload of energy and so many things that were going on in the building at that time. It was so exciting. I mean, I had a blast. I've never watched an entertainment opportunity that focused around the game of baseball that was like that. But I am excited. I was excited to see them. And we've kicked around some ideas, nothing with any depth, because we are so knee deep in all of these new systems and ensuring that they work and that we can answer questions for those and get the answers that we needed at the appropriate time. I'm sure there are elements and pieces that Director of Promotions, David Ratz, is doing this with his hands right now, trying to figure out how he can inject that life into what we do there. But rest assured, we would like to be able to take a thing or two from what they're doing as well. But we've been really focused in on ensuring that we get this opening day off and have a wild amount of success. But phenomenal question. So great question by Jeff Maynard. Are there going to be any chances to have an autograph session with the players plural as well? One of the things that I noticed last year unprompted was how many of our players actually spend time signing both before and after games. I was flabbergasted at the number of players that did that as well, unprompted and unasked as well. And so at that time, because of that number, Jeff, because of the numbers, that were staying after the game, at that time I didn't feel that we were in need of that as well. But that's a great question. That's the first time that I've gotten that, and so that's something that we should be considering to be able to do and work with as well. So Jeff, let me take that question under consideration, and then as we move forward. But I'm sure I'll be seeing you around the ballpark this summer, buddy, so you can always pull me aside and we can chat about that as well. So great question. So this question is pretty simple to ask. When will we be getting our parking passes that we ordered as well? And so I know currently Peter is working along with our assistant director of ticketing, Jenna Smith, in distributing those to the appropriate representatives so they can reach out to you directly and give you an understanding of when you can come and pick up your parking passes. But I saw some of those emails being shared today. So, and then more of a comment, and thank you as well. And from Brian, thank you for the great information. Looking forward to this season. Go Shrimp and go Marlins. I concur. I just want to say thank you for the folks that we had join us here today for us to be able to share the information that we did. And I'm excited to welcome everybody back into the ballpark this year. You know, it's been a while since we had everybody together for Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. I know we had everybody together earlier in the month for those of y'all who joined us for the Savannah Bananas, but this is an opportunity to showcase what we do as a Jumbo Shrimp during our season as well. So if there are no other questions, which I believe we've answered all of them, just a huge thank you from myself, Ken, Peter, Guillermo, our entire front office team. Just a huge thank you for joining us, being here for our town hall. Less than 2 weeks away, we'll be cranking this puppy up and hitting the ground running for the 2023 season. please, please, please enjoy the rest of this gorgeous weather week and your weekend. And we'll see you soon at the ballpark. Goodbye.